How to survive EMP.
How to survive an EMP. 6th step. Step 1. Turn your radio on immediately to get as much information as possible. Most electronics are going to stop functioning as soon as the EMP goes off. However, depending on the type of EMP, there is a good chance that radios will continue to work, at least for a short while. Turn the radio on and tune into any news source with a decent signal. Keep it on as long as possible and pay attention while you take the next steps to ensure that you get as much information as you can. Most EMPs emit gamma rays that overload tiny circuits in modern electronics. Computers, phones, and electrical grids will likely go out, but rudimentary electronics that rely on radio waves are unlikely to be affected. Try not to panic. An EMP may be catastrophic to the electrical systems in the area, but the electromagnetic signal itself will not harm you. There is a very good chance everything will be fine. This will likely only work if you have a battery-operated radio. Step 2. Shelter in place and wait for the initial chaos to subside. If all of the electronics suddenly stop working, the immediate loss of electricity will cause a lot of sudden confusion and chaos. If you aren't home, wait 30 to 45 minutes for all of the abrupt danger to pass. Then, go home if you're within a few miles or kilometers. If you're already home, stay there and do not go outside. If the radio mentions a nuclear blast, stay where you are. Do not leave under any condition and get as low as you can in the building you're in. Go to the basement, lowest level, or a room underground. The air is thinner the higher up you are, and the nuclear gamma rays will impact you more easily if you're up high. If you have a family, your first thought is likely how to find them and keep them safe. If your family has no emergency plan in place, nobody can fault you for making a break for your child's school or your partner's workplace. Once you have everyone, go home. Step 3. Take back roads and don't drive if you do have to go out. If you are going out to retrieve family or you weren't home when the EMP occurred, stay out of your vehicle if you have less than 3 to 4 miles, 4.8 to 6.4 kilometers, to travel. Walk side streets and back roads to stay out of harm's way and avoid the chaos. Busy streets will likely be pretty disorderly in the hours following an EMP. If you're outside during a nuclear blast, cover your mouth and nose with a cloth or mask to avoid breathing in toxic particles. A bicycle is a great way to get around if you can't take your vehicle out. Your vehicle may still work if it's older or it doesn't rely on a dedicated electrical signal outside of the battery to keep the engine going, which is the case for many vehicles. You can drive it if you absolutely have to, but it's safer to stay off of the roads if you can. Step 4. Fill your bathtub and empty bottles with water in case the pressure goes out. Many municipal water systems rely on electronics. While the water may work now, it may go out within a few hours as the pressure empties out. Put a stopper in your tub and fill it up with water to create a reserve. Then, fill every pitcher, bottle, bucket, and glass with water. This way you won't need to worry about dehydration for at least a few weeks. Cover any open glasses or pitchers with flat objects to keep contaminants out of your water and keep the water out of direct sunlight as best as you can. Step 5. Eat anything in your fridge first to minimize food shortages. For the first 1 to 2 days, eat whatever is in your fridge and hasn't gone bad immediately. Save the dry stuff for later when you may really need it. The odds are low society will completely collapse and you'll go without help for super long, but it's still better to go through everything that's going to go bad anyway. Anything in your fridge will be perfectly safe for 40 minutes after the power goes out. After that, things start to go bad. Don't eat any food that develops a slimy texture, mold, an odor, or any discoloration after 2 to 4 hours. If it's cold outside and you can keep your food cool outdoors, pack everything into a cooler and set it outside. Final step. Pack your frozen goods in a cooler with ice and eat them as they thaw. Dump everything worth saving in your freezer into a large cooler. Pour in the ice from your ice trays or ice maker and set the cooler in the coldest location possible. Once everything in your fridge has gone bad, start eating things that have thawed from your freezer. Work your way from the most thawed to the least thawed. You can store frozen goods outside in a cooler packed with ice if it's cold out. Don't eat anything that has completely thawed and may have started to go bad, especially if it's uncooked meat.